And so here we are. So what am I talking about today? I'm going to talk about this putting it off pattern. I've seen it myself, and I'm seeing it a lot with people that are wanting to take the next step in their lives. I work with a lot of empaths and sensitives, and we've had a lot of conditioning around putting other people first, putting other people's needs first, putting other people's emotions first, making sure people are taken care of before we take care of ourselves. And what happens is that when we learn these behaviors from a very young age, we end up, sometimes we learn them in a way of survival. Like, this is how we're going to survive. We have to behave this way. We have to do these things. Otherwise, we're not going to survive. Other times it gets passed down. It's conditioning. It's, our mother, learned it. Maybe our father too learned it, and it was passed down to him, and then it was passed down to you about, putting what you need aside and putting other priorities in front of you. So it's conditioning. It's a way of survival, and it becomes this internal pattern that we end up doing to ourselves. And so when I talk about like the putting it off pattern, what I'm meaning is that, and this is the thing is that when it becomes just a part of who we are, we don't realize that it's operating. We don't realize that there's actually this behind the scenes program that's running that says, before you can do this, this has to happen. Before you can do this, you have to do this. So for example, say you want to run a business, say you want to open up your business, say you want to share your art, say you want to be in a romantic partnership, say you want to move your house, you want to change locations, you want to, have your own place. What I see happening is that what I see happening is that like a client will say to me, well, I want to have my own place. Pax is here. I have my coffee too. Cheers. So I had a client talk to me about like really wanting to get out of the place that they're living in. But before they could do that, they had to make sure that they had this all in place. I've had clients that say, well, I want to be in a romantic partnership, but before I do that, I have to make sure that I lose weight, my family issues are taken care of, I get out of debt, all these things. Other clients that say to me, well, I just really want to be doing the work that I want to be doing. I really want to be like, dreaming, living my dream career, doing the work that I really love. But this, and this this is the reason why I can't do it. So what I'm saying is, and what I'm asking you, inviting you to take a look at, is to like really pay attention to yourself, really pay attention to the stories that you're saying, the things that you're saying out loud, that this and this. And one of the things that's popping up right now is that, because we're shifting, we're growing, we're expanding, we're remembering who we really are, we're understanding that we have the capability and capacity to do the inner rewiring and recoding so that our outer world is that experience. And so when we're putting all of the things in front of the actual experience or circumstance that we want to experience, then it's like we're just continuing to put off, when we can really do is choose the outcome, choose the experience, just choose. I want to be in a romantic partnership. I want to run a business. I want to do my art show. I want to move out of this house. I want my own place. Start to choose the thing that you really want, and what is in the way will rise to the surface. And what I'm saying to you is that one of the things are the putting it off pattern. This will manifest in your life where you'll feel like you have the ideas, the inspiration, you want to do the things, but then you're like, you feel stuck, or you feel, the fears will start coming up, or distractions will come, right? You get motivated, you get this loose, you're gonna do the thing, you're gonna put yourself out into the dating world, you're going to launch that course, you're going to write that ebook, you're going to, find the house that you want to live in. But then distractions come, right? And then all of a sudden something bigger than what it is that you desire is now calling your attention and your energy, right? Something breaks, or some relationship issues rise up. And those are all manifestations of that inner program that's running, that inner pattern, right? So when you start to understand that everything that's going on, you have the capacity and capability to be orchestrating all of your experiences. It's never about the thing outside of you. The thing outside of you doesn't have to happen first before you actually choose it for yourself. And so this putting it off pattern is one of the inner patterns and programs to be aware of. So rather than saying, I need to get a website before I write my ebook, just write the ebook. And just know that everything will come into place for you to birth that out into the world. Choose the new home. Choose it. Get clear in your own mind. This is how we cause static and chaos in our own inner system, when we aren't really choosing the thing that we want, because part of us feels like what we have to look at, or what's operating inside of us, perhaps it's past trauma, perhaps it's past pain, perhaps it's like these wounds that haven't yet to be healed, or emotions that haven't yet to be transmuted. And we are so advanced in the way that we are able to work with our systems that it doesn't have to take a long time. It doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be painful. But there is part of us that is afraid. There's reasons why that stuff that's causing the chaos and the static within us, we haven't looked at it, because the way that I see it, it's like the reasons are many, right? Like a spider web. Like, why can't I get out of my own way? Why can't I just launch that course? Why can't I just, share my message out in the world? Why can't I just choose the thing that I really want? But rather than looking at the why, because that'll just keep us spinning, it's like, understand that when you really choose, the things that are in the way, in that spider web, will come to the surface. And this is where people stop. And because they're afraid it's going to be too hard, they come up with stories of like, I don't have the time. It's going to be too scary to like really look at this stuff that's inside you, right? Which is stuff that's been programmed, implanted, conditioned, passed down from family. It's likely not even all yours. We have these inner fears of actually showing up and letting the world see who we are. Fears around, allowing our lives to be better than those around us. You have to understand that everybody has a choice, and you not choosing for you so that you don't trigger or upset people around you, it's not your responsibility. Our responsibility is to choose our lives and move forward with that. What I'm here to bring through is an understanding that the shift that you want to create doesn't require deep digging. Doesn't require the word excavation is coming through of your whole internal system. It is a part of it, But what's happening is people get lost, right? This is another put off. Let me do my inner healing work so then I can have the thing. Let me do my inner healing work so that I can be ready for that relationship, so that I can feel confident going out and doing a live, so I can feel, ready to put my art into the world. And what I'm saying, you could do both at the same time. Choose what it is that you want, what will come to the surface, and you work through it. But when we're putting too much attention on, looking for what's in the way, that's another putting off pattern. That's another part of that spider web. I can't get into all the spider webs right now, but I am going to do a workshop or class. It's a session. It's called Liberation Session this Saturday on the full moon, where I'm going to share with you, I'm going to bring you through, what is actually being called within you to be resolved, and then how to do it really quickly and with least amount of effort, and have the impact that this inner part of you is calling for. And with that, when we start to delete, when we start to release, when we start to transmute these inner patterns and programs, we open up space to who we really are, to our superpowers, to our capacities to work with frequency and energy, to have clarity in our own minds, and to start to embrace these superpowers and gifts that we really have. And when I say to understand that we have the capacity to tune into our own frequencies, and in doing that, our outer world adjusts. So that's what I mean about superpowers. And the other one that's coming through right now is your superpower of understanding yourself so deeply and intimately that you trust your heart, you trust your gut, you trust your intuition. You have a knowing instead of the monkey mind of trying to make decisions. You have a knowing of what the right choice is, what the best next step is, beyond what logic will tell you. Beyond. So it's like having this clear space and connecting into who you really are also eliminates a lot of these inner programs and patterns and conditioning that we've been carrying around. Again, can you see at this point where it's like so much about the forward momentum and knowing how to work with what comes up than it is about like trying to find out what's in the way. And so it is about being able to hold both and continue to move forward. So I'll wrap this up with, be aware of the ways that you are putting things in front of what you really want. Choose what you really want. And then start to listen for what the next steps are and the action steps are and the guidance, and do it. And be aware that when the inner limitations come up, when the inner putting it off patterns come up, because they're going to unveil to you, ways that you've maybe been afraid. They're going to reveal to you the fears that you have of actually having the experience that you desire. It's going to bring up for you worries about abandonment or not being liked or what people will say. And this is where when you have the awareness and you don't get too involved in the story of what's being reflected back to you or shown to you, that you can move through things so much more quicker, because everything is a manifestation, a creation, a magnetization from the quantum field. From where you're pulling it in, it becomes. And so what's already happening will naturally dissolve as you keep moving in that forward direction. So again, it's like when these things come up, don't get caught up in the story or the drama of what's happening, or be aware of trying to resolve the thing outside of you first, right? Well, if they will just change, or if, people won't bully me online, or if people won't make fun of me, or if people will stay in my life if I start to be happier. Like, those are all just anchors to the reality in which you're trying to move out of. So you have the capacity and capability, but we've just been wired in ways that take longer. It's all effective. It's all important. All the healing, all the inner work, the therapy, all of it is important, and it's a part of it. But also what I'm inviting you to understand is that there is even more that you have capacity and capability to do, and that we can let the old ways kind of drift away and really tap into tapping into your superpowers and your power of choice and your personal empowerment and your emotional intelligence and the quantum field and your own internal system. And so this Saturday I'm doing a workshop session. I'm doing something amazing this weekend. It's called Liberation. And I'm going to be guiding you through, I'm going to help you understand a little bit more about this spider web and what your system is actually. It's like almost like this little click that happens and then your system activates. So we're going to do that. I'm going to guide you through that. You're going to understand the process so that if this continues to happen for you, you're going to be able to do it for yourself, because I'm all about empowerment. I'm all about you understanding how to work with your system, because your system actually is different than my system, is different than people around you's system. Okay. So, but we all have greater capacities that we haven't tapped into. And that's what I want to support you in facilitation, is liberating what has been anchoring you into your current reality, clicking in that piece that is been waiting, right? So it can be fast, it can be quick. We're not talking about, years of, therapy and shadow work or any of that. We're like, no, let's keep tapping into our superpower and then know how to dissolve what's been anchoring us. You follow what I'm saying so far? So Saturday, we're going to be inside a space together. I'm going to bring you through this process that you're going to learn how to know how to do for yourself. I'm going to guide you through a visualization to liberate the aspects of you that have been holding you back into this, putting it off pattern, into putting others first pattern, into the conditioning and the limitations that have been passed down. And then you're going to activate your own unique healing energy and frequency. You're going to walk away with understanding what these aspects that have been holding you back or down, what those gifts are, because it's whole. It's not, there's gifts to what these aspects within these patterns, these, the ways that we've been conditioned, there's gifts to that. So we want to take those with us, but we can leave behind what's no longer serving us. Okay? Decide, just choose, decide. Because anything that's in the way will rise up to the surface. And then but you can hold both. You can hold the old programming and patterning and conditioning, and you can, hold the choice and the desire, which is where you're going. This will fall away, and then you keep going forward, and then the world meets you where you are. I gotta go because I'm already late, but thanks for watching, and I will tune in. I will circle back soon.